We love our Friday nights. Right here on 97.3 Citi FM. Benjamin Nketiah here, Sports Panorama. We are live. Bayer Leverkusen. Oh boy. The hottest team on the block. They are looking to basically complete the season unbeaten. I know that sounds crazy, right? I believe they have one more Bundesliga game to go. They have the final of the Europa League to go. And basically that's about it. So Bayer Leverkusen looking to complete the season unbeaten. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Real Madrid and Bayern Munich as well. A very interesting game, ended up in a lot of controversy. Bayern Munich feel like they were unfairly treated. Referee wrongfully, or at least according to them, disallowing a goal. We'll be getting into all of that. There's also a big game this weekend between Manchester United and Arsenal. Arsenal are trying to keep positive, trying to make sure that at least they hold up their end of the bargain. We'll get into that as well. But of course, Rabbi, it's time to put us in the spiritual groove. It's time to make sure that everybody is soaked in the mighty blood. From Manchester United to Mikel Arteta, they all need soaking in the blood. Eric Ten Hag, soak the Santo in the blood for me, coach. Soak the Santo in the blood. Because the way Ten Hag is doing United, me, I don't like United, but even me, I'm not happy. The league is better when Manchester United is playing well.
That is obvious.
I need you to soak Ten Hag's head in the blood for me. And a slot, I've started hearing some things. The kind of things that Dutch managers like doing that has been causing their downfall. He's also Santo 2.0. Soak him in the blood for me no more. Commit all of them in God's hands.
Manche me a manche. Jehovah Zebaut. No bale oba. You wa woke shida you know woke nyuma jomo wo. Menesoa ni masoa na masoa. Woke abofam bi etui be hye na babo opemu edenche tui. Ghana ma mo fe klalo. Ni bia ne anokwale son wo yo ye bia. Bia ne ejake esaka wo yo anokwale wo no wo le Ghana fe fio he akeshi ke abo bia ne tui. Be Ghana ma mo fe sheko. Woke jomo Eric Ten Hag. Me shini nta. Ashwele Joe Jays and agame JJ yo wa o jemi ye hamomi yo wa o jemi ye hamomi yo wa o jemi ye hamomi yo wa jomo mi da ke da ho benita na me hamomi ni tankwa o megani bi ana me nja me gaja ma me nje me nya ko na ko magbo machine bi o jomo mi numa ya no man you le to ame ni ka me kanya me na afa me here benisa be ba to ame no more slot aw yowa no more slot jomo slot e shoe na ba ne ba we shoe petekple denche shoe wulu no slot e yowa anibula be ne ka fite jogging club no tumo na etuwe wo ke no ba le wo ba ni benisa ya no kale me no ba ywe ye bie ye Yesu gba me amen.
And the rabbi wants to stay in the spiritual groove. So enjoy this one.
The bunny Sika papa Ejuma papa
Jiva Susumao no more Jiva Abba. Oh, we're ready. You are about now, boy. You are be share what that you know. About. Abba. Hey, Abeku. And tell you, Mona. Mommy. Mommy, Charlie, Shida Yowa, Shida Yowa.
No, but tell us the secret of this song today.
You know what?
Tell us.
This song, since the day I heard the song, by the way, congratulations to Nassim. Absolutely brilliant remix. We are all used to the original lyrics, isn't it? But I heard the song somewhere last week, and I was like, look, where can I play this song for me to be very, very satisfied?
No, it is here.
I say, this song will have to be the song played on Sports Panorama today. No more. Shida yuwai. Shida. Woya me. Kewoba me. Waniyeli me. Wakwemo me. Waka yuwa. Shida humble. Ngetia is all about being grateful to God for everything that He does and continue to do in our life. Wow, you have to be grateful. Nketia, you have to be grateful.
Always.
Abeku, and find agro. Making sure that DBI the asida esefata.
Thank you very much, Rabbi.
We are just grateful to God.
Thank you. Let's get into it and let's talk UEFA Champions League. Let's start off with you. Let me start off with Nathan, actually. Nathan, I'm not sure if you watched the Real Madrid Bayern game. Lovely game.
I did.
Lovely game. Let's get right into it because it's.
I did.
Let's get right into it because it's a game that I don't know. I didn't think Real Madrid and Bayern had like that level of pull power here in Ghana because look. I was basically driving around looking for an ideal place to watch the game. I didn't want to watch this kind of game at home. And everywhere I went was so choked that there was actually nowhere to park. Like, I first tried somewhere, a couple of places in Laboni, and there was nowhere to park. Like, I went round. I'm like, hey, now is it Hasselhoff and Kotoko playing or what's going on here? Like, there was... The level of interest literally just overwhelmed me, really. But in the end, I realized a lot of people were supporting Bayern Munich because when the Bayern goal went in, it's like the whole neighborhood or the whole Accra erupted. When the Real Madrid equalizer went in, it was crickets. I didn't hear anything. And somebody told me that he dislikes Real Madrid purely because they are always winning. Like, I didn't understand. Is it why are they always winning everything? Like, why can't they lose or why can't they appear normal? Like, they don't look like a normal club. They're always winning. So
especially in the Champions League.
Yep. The Germans were looking for an all-German final. It didn't happen. Real Madrid are in the final. It ended 2-1. Very controversial game, especially if you stand on the Bayern Munich side of things. But let me start off with Nathan. What caught your eye in this game and what do you think was the key ingredient for Real Madrid overcoming Bayern?
Well, I thought the first half was very interesting. Real Madrid went close on a number of occasions. They hit the bar, I think once. Vini Jr., Manuel Neuer saved a lot of the other shots. And as the game wore on, two things came to mind. Either Bayern Munich go and score a sucker punch, they win and go home, or somehow Real Madrid find a way and eventually go past Neuer and they win the game. What I did not expect was the drama. First, thumbs up to Alphonso Davies. I remember last week, Chris, you were saying that you were saying that Davies needed to start the game
all day.
I don't know why Bayern did not start Alphonso Davies, but they brought him on eventually, and I thought he gave them a very, very good outlet, and he put them in the lead. And then two of the biggest things struck me. One was Thomas Tuchel's decision to make the changes he made. Of course, we say hindsight is 2020. Post game, I read somewhere that Harry Kane seems to have had a back injury or whatever.
Yep, Sané had an issue.
But in taking everybody off, I thought he needed to have something to fight Real Madrid with, or something to remind Real Madrid that don't get foolhardy, don't throw bodies forward, because there's this outlet. I don't know why Jamal Musiala was taken out of the game.
Also had an injury.
Okay,
Yeah.
so he had a hamstring challenge. Yeah. Okay, so basically,
so Tuchel says that everybody he took off
had
an
problem.
issue.
So
Yeah.
his hand was forced.
Harry Kane had no issue.
Again, is
are you doubting the manager?
I'm doubting him. He had no issue.
Ben, whatever it is, I expected Tuchel to understand the position he was in.
Yeah.
And realize that he needed to find a way of keeping Real Madrid at arm's length. Because what you want is to let them reconsider. Every time they want to go for it, they need to remember that, hey, this guy is there. Let's hold it. Because Bayern took the lead with 22 minutes left in the 68th minute. And then Real Madrid started forcing the issue. So now to the second thing that I walked away with. Real Madrid are a very interesting team. After the game, Carlo Ancelotti said, yeah, it's happened again, and he can't explain what's going on. There's a simple explanation to why Real Madrid keep doing these things. One, there's a certain strong sense of belief in the team that they can keep going and they'll find something.
Yep.
Now, over time,
based on having done it before.
Yes, so it becomes a mindset. Now, what it does to a lot of opposition teams, that it puts them in doubt, because as soon as you take the lead, you are wondering, will these guys equalize? Okay, when will they equalize? So you are almost waiting for that equalizer to come. Things calm down for you, and then you go on. And I think that's where Munich found themselves. Either through accident or design, Thomas Tuchel had to make those changes. And it really invigorated Real Madrid even more to keep going. And then the man who had been keeping Real Madrid away throughout the game, that's one mistake. Manuel Neuer drops the ball. And it reminds me so much of Oliver Kahn 2002. In the 2002 World Cup. He kept the Brazilians away until that minute where he spilled it for Ronaldo to make it 1-0 Brazil. And the game was gone from that point. So you have that. And then Real Madrid score a second. I guess maybe out of excitement, he didn't really pass, whatever. But I thought that the second Real Madrid goal, I was still trying to find where the onside decision was. Granted, it was onside. It's the Bayern Munich equalizer that I'm still not too sure what exactly happened. Who was offside? Because I heard the whistle. I watched the game again the night after, before the Europa League game. Who was offside in the build-up? I heard the whistle go, and it is true. But I'm wondering which of the three players was it Mola? Was it De Ligt?
No, it wasn't De Ligt. It was
Mazraoui. He was offside.
Yeah, he was ruled as.
He was
offside.
ruled as being offside. No problem.
But he didn't touch the ball.
He didn't even touch the ball. But he was involved in the play because he put a bit of a pressure on Ferland Mendy, and so he was involved in the play.
Ferland Mendy was far away from the ball.
Anyway,
but the ball. Listen, there was Rudiger and there was Ferland Mendy, and the two Bayern Munich players were in between the two of them.
Yes,
and Mola was the one closer to Ferland Mendy, and the Mazraoui was behind Rudiger. So you can clearly see that Real Madrid actually went to set the offside trap. And truth be told, Mazraoui was offside, but the one who eventually headed the ball
was a Real Madrid player.
Yeah. So it's what? Game on.
Game on. And the rules clearly states that you let the possession play out.
Let the sequence complete.
Let the sequence play out before you either raise the flag.
I think the referee did admit after the game.
Yeah, that he made a mistake.
Okay.
He should have blown the whistle. Yeah. Okay, the assistant referee was quick to raise his flag. So you don't blow your whistle. You stay patient. Let the possession play out. Let the sequence play out. And if the possession ends with the ball finding the net, then you go and check VAR.
And another thing that
once you blow your whistle, then you've made your decision. VAR can't come in.
And you see, if you look at the clip, some people are saying that by hearing the whistle, some of the Real Madrid
yes, they stopped.
They didn't stop. Who stopped? Go and watch the game. Even Militao, who was closer to delete, attempted block the ball, and the ball went through his legs.
Anyway, so be that as it may.
Dane is Real Madrid.
So are you saying that Real Madrid are in the final because the referees were not fair?
No, but at the end of the day,
yes,
we've seen this several times, not once, several times. In Getia, you know that is your team, so you know. Several times. There have been times where Real Madrid, look, the time they fouled the PSG goalkeeper, you remember?
Yeah. When was this? 2 years ago.
2 years ago. When they went all the way to the final, PSG should have knocked them out. Clearly, there was a foul on Donnarumma. They didn't whistle. Nobody share. It changes the face of the game, then they are through.
But Real Madrid
Casemiro will be playing for them.
This has gone the other way.
Give me one day, one match where Real Madrid in the Champions League semi-final at the Bernabeu, significant decision goes against them. Well, that is why anytime this president leaves the team, they struggle.
Florentino.
When he comes back, then they are winning. You ask, what exactly is he involved in?
This is a conspiracy theory. I will not accept this conspiracy theory.
No, but is it not a matter of fact?
Real Madrid are a team built on sweat, resilience, and overly.
I have not said they are not built on those things, but what I'm saying is that
Florentino's arrival has done nothing.
Florentino and his skirmishes.
Which skirmishes?
A few skirmishes coming.
Anyway, look, bottom line. Real Madrid passed the test because Munich did give them a test, and they are in the final. So thumbs up to them. And I think that for me, that game highlighted something I'd been wondering, asking myself, that should Real Madrid win the Champions League, which of their players will get to be rewarded as being the most standouts? I think Wednesday night told me, and probably told a lot of people, that Vinicius Jr. has been
that's another issue for discussion today. Who is more worthy of a Ballon d'Or in that Real Madrid setup?
Vinicius Jr.
Jude.
Vinicius Jr. I'm sure others will have other opinions, but I think he stood out. He kept going. Ben, all through the game, every time he had to go and take a corner kick, he was urging the crowd, turn up the noise. He was active. He was involved. He gave everything. He gave them intensity. And I think for a player who 3-4 years ago, I remember that Marquez, or I can't remember which Spanish paper, they referred to him as fictitious junior, because they said you couldn't see him in matches. 3-4 years on, he is Real Madrid star player. Massive shouts to him, in terms of growth, being resilient, but also getting the confidence of a manager like Carlo Ancelotti, who understands player value and has allowed the player to grow and grow and grow. Now he's at this point where he's arguably Real Madrid's most important player. So I thought it was a fantastic game. I enjoyed watching it from a very interesting place. I won't say of bias, but personally, I just love watching Jude Bellingham, so I'd be very happy if he wins the Champions League. As fate would have it, it's against the team he just left to come to Real Madrid. So I think that 1st of June
something caught my eye in that Real Madrid game. I feel like it needs highlighting. So basically, Luka Modric comes on late in the second half, and he does something that amazes me. There's a counter attack, and Bayern have the opportunity.
Yes. I remember he tracked back. This was just before the equalizer.
He tracks back like 40, 50 yards across the pitch. And the kind of pace he showed, I was shocked. And look, if you are a youngster in this Real Madrid team, because you will admit that this Real Madrid team is more a youngsters team than it is a veteran team. And somebody was saying the last time that you're trying to draw comparisons between the Real Madrid project as opposed to the Chelsea project. And I was telling the person basically that, look, one of the things that stands out for me the most in the Real Madrid project is the influence of the veterans at Real Madrid. So if you are a Camavinga, Tchouameni, Rodrigo, whoever, and you see 39 or 38-year-old Luka Modric come off the bench and do a run like that, I mean, down the pitch when the team is down. I mean, how dare you not give your 110% when you are playing for Real Madrid?
Yeah.
They've laid down a certain marker that makes the standard so high. And Bellingham is asked by Rio Ferdinand if playing for Real Madrid
this was
pressure for him.
after they beat Man City. And he said that it's a sense of responsibility.
He says if you play for Real Madrid, you know what comes with playing for Real Madrid. So I feel like, look, the veterans in that mix have been great for them. The mentoring has been absolutely amazing. You look at guys like Nacho, guys like Luka Modric, Toni Kroos,
Lucas Vasquez,
Vasquez, like the kind of mentoring,
Carvajal,
the kind of mentoring they've given to these youngsters. It's amazing. Camavinga is about to play in his second Champions League final. He's just 21 years old. So Chelsea, look, you needed very serious veterans in your locker room to have been able to steer this team to where it needed to go. Now, who are the Chelsea veterans? They had Thiago Silva, they had Chilwell. Who would I call a veteran in that room again? Cucurella to an extent.
We can Buny.
To an extent, but he had played Brighton and Hove
as compared to the others.
Yeah, compared to
he
the
definitely
others.
had more Premier League.
Yeah.
In establishing a veteran,
he barely doesn't.
You don't compare. A veteran is a veteran.
I think you need to have at least 8 to 9 years at the top. I think so. So they had very few veterans in their locker room.
You can argue that they have only one
proper veteran.
And
Thiago Silva.
Even him, I feel like Thiago Silva is the kind of guy who leads by example.
True.
Because he could not speak English, he's not going to bother himself to try and say too many things. And whenever he said stuff, the stuff he said was always profound about how it was inappropriate for team owners to continuously come to the dressing room to address them, about how the management style was not... You know, he said pockets of things. Now, guess what? Thiago Silva is leaving at the end of the season. What happens to your project then?
Todd Bowley will always be in the dressing room.
Are you going to buy more veterans to come and continue the work that perhaps you were doing?
I think so.
Or... Are you serious?
No,
the way these people are going, they look like they're going to buy more.
For instance, if they go get a guy like Victor Osimhen, you know how boisterous he is and how vocal he is. He leads by example and through consistent.
But we don't know if Chelsea want Osimhen yet. There haven't been any concrete links.
But it's all about. The thing is, if you look at it properly, they will have to go get a striker. No matter what they do, I mean, Nicholas Jackson has got into a very good groove.
Yeah.
He's got into double figures, but it's clear that they can't rely on him throughout the entire season. So they'll have to go in for a striker, and definitely they won't go in for another hot shot kind of prospect. They'll go in for an established name.
You don't know,
and that is likely to be a Victor Osimhen or let's say maybe a Vlahovic, maybe.
I like the names you are throwing about. Hopefully Todd Bowley has as much insight on the game. Coach, let me come to you on tactical pros. You've spoken about Florentino conspiracies, which I disagree with. Talk to me about the tactics on the day. Why do you think Bayern were undone? Because I think that the only reason why Bayern were actually even in that game was because of Neuer.
I beg to differ. I think tactically there were two things wrong with the team.
Okay.
I wouldn't have done a 4-4-2 like he did, or make a 4-4-1-1 like he did. I would have added another midfielder to that team, and I wouldn't have started Mr. Gnabry.
So you go like 4-5-1.
He should have repeated what he did in the first leg by asking Musiala to go wide, and then added another midfielder. I would have played with Goretzka, Lima, and then the young chap Pavlovic, because he needed to do something like that. It wasn't a game that they will have to go and force and win, because if you look at the strength of this Bayern Munich team, after if the game had traveled to penalty, they win it all day. Typical German team, they don't lose on penalties. And then the idea not to start Alphonso Davies again was completely unacceptable. it is a board decision, so be it. But look, he's not going to renew the contract. He said, I'm going. It's two things. You are paying the man every week. Do you pay him for him to sit on the bench, or you pay him to go and get the job done? So these were the...
And when they brought him on, they saw the
We all
job,
saw.
They saw the job he could do.
We all saw it. And it is that clear. Look, on his day, he's the best left fullback in the world. Nobody competes with him. Mention one player who competes with him on his day when he's in his full flow.
Maybe Theo Hernandez.
Who?
I think
Theo
Hernandez of AC.
Theo Hernandez.
Ishako.
Theo Hernandez.
Ishako.
He's a striker in the left back position.
Ishako. See, the pace
But Davis's defense
and the skill set
as well.
No, yes, that is why he will make you defend against him. Normally, when he's playing and he's on form, it is the winger that tend to defend against him. He will force you to go backwards. But having said that, look, I think tactically Bayern had a game plan that meant that they would slow down the tempo of the game. That was brilliant on the part of Toto Alote. Super tactical ploy. Look, they will play. We know that Real Madrid played at a certain tempo. Yeah. But when you guys get it, slow it down and pass it around. Pass it around. But in passing it around too, you should be waiting and finding the channels. The player who was very disappointing to me again was Leroy Sané. Because in that first half, there were 3 occasions where Harry Kane picked the pass, played with Musiala, they gave him the pass neat.
Very wasteful.
And he was clearly in behind Mendy, virtually drawing Nacho out of position. All he needed to do was to pick the pass. Pick the pass. And on one of such occasions where they were able to play through the Real Madrid team, that ball went to Gnabry, who couldn't just find the pass. You could see Harry Kane virtually cursing his stars. If only you could just roll this ball. Simple tapping. Bayern Munich had a game plan. And therefore, their game plan was to sit back and counter. And now the introduction of Alphonso Davies clearly meant that Real Madrid had to worry about the pace and the skill set of the young man. Look at the goal he scored. From nowhere, Musiala picks the ball, 10, gives it to Harry Kane, and on looking past, because
Kane finds
him, Davies, without even looking, he knows that the man will be on the move. So Davies picks up the ball. Cavalla completely out of position. Rudiger drawn from the centre back row. Yep. And again, nobody thought he's that good with his right foot.
Take it with his right.
I didn't see that coming. But that is the quality of the young man. Born here at Bujumbura. You understand? That is the quality of the young man. Now, Real Madrid in that second half, I'll take it from when they considered the goal. They needed to respond. But before Bayern scored, Vinicius Junior was absolutely worrying. He was completely taking Kimmich, delete. Everybody in that division, he was taking them to the cleaners. And the problem there was the lack of diagonal shift of the ball, diagonal movement, because Real Madrid tend to overload that left-hand side. And then more or less position Mendy, instead of Mendy going behind Vinicius to give him the way, he's chucked in alongside Jude Bellingham, and that virtually blocked Lerma and the other midfielder, what is the name again? Pavlovic, and isolated Vinicius Junior against Kimmich. And what Thomas Tuchel needed to do, which he eventually did, was to go a back 3 and take off Leroy Sané, who was not contributing anything at the time defensively, and push Kimmich a bit forward. But just when he did the substitution that I would have done, to go to a back 3, transition to a back 5, then Musiala went down with a foot cramp. Take him only off. Take only him off. I don't believe it is not true
that
Harry Kane had a back injury.
You think he's saying it to save face?
That is what he did. Because we saw the man 4 minutes to the end of the game. Normally, what a Carlo, a Mourinho, a Pep, a Jurgen Klopp would have done was to get Harry Kane to go past the 90th minute and then do the substitution when Real Madrid would be very desperate and use that to kill the temple of the game. Even that, you signal him that you're going to change him, get him to go far away, and then do the subject, get him to walk across.
It doesn't make sense to take off your most dangerous player in a game like that.
And like Nathan said, something should have stopped Rudiger and Nacho from coming forward. That Musiala and Hurricane change together. They all came off at the same time.
Yeah.
What sort of change was that, Mr. Alute? So the moment he did that, Rudiger, even before he took them off, you may argue that Rudiger was coming. They needed to engage Rudiger. The two of them were not engaging Rudiger. So just take the one who was struggling with cramp and bring on a Thomas Muller.
Yeah.
Or dare another defensive midfielder in Goretzka. When you do that, you have your three men in the middle, push one of them just behind Hurricane so that he will more or less stop Rudiger from putting in those diagonal balls into the box. Totality didn't do that. Eventually, Madrid equaled. But look, truth be told, did anybody see Noah making that mistake?
Nope.
I didn't see it coming. Because even the balls that we thought would go past him, he dealt with them with ease. There was one ball where Vinny went past the entire defense, and one is like a 1v1. He blasted the ball, and Noah just threw the ball over the bar. I said, wow, this is proper football. This is what you call football at its best. 25, 28, 30 yards short. Noah, per his caliber, he deals with that with cheeky ease and calms down the net. But what he didn't do well, just before that goal, Bayern was on the defensive and he caught the ball. At that time, he wanted to go on the counter. He should have just killed the game. You see, these are experienced guys, and this is a World Cup goalkeeper, a World Cup winner. You are leading, you are at the Bernabeu, your team is under pressure, you've just had a clean catch of the ball. You slow it down and push them high up the pitch. Come on, let's go. Push up. So they push up and get them to go and compete in the half of the opponent. You take it, you hit it hard into the half of the opponent, and then they compete there. So if they were to lose the ball there, they can commit the foul there, and everybody get back into position. Now you watch the sequence again. He caught the ball, then he threw the ball. He tried to get the ball quickly to Alphonso Davies. The ball got intercepted. Real Madrid quickly recycled the ball straight to Vinicius Juniors, and then he's coming forward again. And Kimmich and Co. backpedaling. So he strikes the ball from like 25, 30 yards. And no more. If I could call balls, I could.
No, but that's unfair to him because, like I said, he had been brilliant.
Work done 0, cost 90 of all your good works. You've just
erased all the
destroyed everything.
You've destroyed everything. The man I know will be chasing that ball with cheeky ease and rather teasing Hoselu.
It was Real Madrid. The fear of God was in him.
You understand? So now
The fear of God was
he gives the goal away, and they were now in 6s and 7. Real Madrid noticed that, pile on extra pressure, and then they got the second goal. And this is what I call no more KJBB linesman Juloni.
But you know that the linesman,
that linesman.
No, but you see the linesman only sort of react. Is the referee makes the final
Let me
decision.
tell you why I'm saying KJBB.
That's not even offside to
KJBB. He nearly gifted Real Madrid a goal in that first half. There was a ball, if you remember. Eric Dyer picks up the ball from the and cleared the ball forward into the half. The ball didn't go out. You remember that ball? The ball stayed in line. Then the linesman waved the flag. The ball was on the field of play. Two balls. Then Real Madrid picks up the ball and threw it. The Bayern Munich players were standing there. Instead of him to wave that, look, there is a second ball. He just kept the flag down. Florentino Perez are famous, Jimmy.
Don't Florentino.
No, I'm telling you honestly.
He's innocent.
So if you see,
not guilty of anything.
Where I was watching the game, I told the people that in a linesman Oduba, I couldn't see the linesman
Florentino
properly.
can do,
I'm coming.
Can do.
I didn't see the linesman properly. Now the linesman then confirms my fear in him. How could you, in this modern era, how could you raise your flag
Last minute.
Like that. Only for you to go and say you are sorry. Who should accept that? Look, everybody in Ghana knows that I don't like Chelsea. Everybody knows that. But you see, you remember when Chelsea played Barcelona in that semi-final 2009. What's the name of that referee?
Ovrebo.
Ovrebo. Look, he completely
He robbed
Chelsea. I've never seen that in my life. Look, I have never seen such robbery in my life. And the one that comes closest to that was what I saw on Wednesday.
Oh, Wednesday's game was not that bad. I don't even know. I think you're exaggerating.
I'm not. That was a deciding moment. He allows the game to flow. Bayern Munich equalizes. They go and check VAR like they did with the Madrid second goal. The goal stands. Game on 2-2. They go to extra time. If they go to extra time and they go to penalties, we all have our strength. You and I know if the game had traveled to penalties, Manuel Neuer. Look, that's what no, but at the 2-2, the first leg and the 2-2. Yep. So this one to 2-2, 2-2, and we go into.
No guarantee the game without penalties.
Then we go to penalties, and we all know the strength of the Germans. They don't lose penalties. Manuel Neuer constantly he will catch 2 out of the 5. Then everything is smooth.
Smoothness level.
I hope life was as straightforward.
But having said that, these are things we need to point out. But having said that, Carlo Ancelotti, goodness me, look, this is a man. I've never seen a coach. Maybe the one who he reminds me of Sir Alex Ferguson, even when things are not going well.
Oh no, I think Ferguson would sometimes
Ferguson is
show it. No, Ferguson will show it.
The closest person to
Del Bosque.
Radar.
Del Bosque.
The one who
Madrid could be winning 5-1, and Del Bosque looks like he's bored on the bench.
He's sleeping, as if he's sleeping.
I don't get that guy.
Look, the composure of the man.
When they went up 2-1, he was like.
Yeah, the composure, and you can see. I think the son.
His son
is playing a very vital role because anytime the changes were made, he didn't talk to the players. It was the son who called the players. He gives you the tactical instructions, and everybody look. Every single substitute on the day went in there to do a job, and they all made an impact. The Modric.
I feel like that's how every Carlo game is. Every substitute makes sense.
That Spanish boy who's now decided to play for Morocco, Raheem Diaz. That boy, he's a fantastic player.
Massive.
I've never seen him bring the ball back before.
Massive.
What team me when I'm 10 Black Star when I'm 10 boy away.
More serving.
And yet, Brahim, you see, these people, he's going to be playing for Morocco. So if you want to bring an end to a 44-year wait, you have to go there. These are the people you'll be playing against.
Brahim Diaz is on
the boy is a super. Look, he came in to replace Rodrigo. And it's like he took the level from where it was to the next one.
And it's like that every time he comes
on. Yep. And you see the demeanor, the composure of the manager. It's like, look, this is what I want. This is, and you see, he's sort of laughing in his head.
I mean, there was this funny scene.
I remember. Cigar. There's this picture of him
and the player.
Who cigar?
Or Trinity.
With his dad. I'm Don Carlo.
Nah, man.
Carlo
he's a big guy.
I remember his time at Everton. Everton got a late winner, and Duncan Ferguson was just shouting and jumping all over the place, and your man was just standing there because it was during winter, and so he felt cold, and he was just sipping on his cup of coffee. Like, cool, like, and he was just looking at Duncan Ferguson like, are you correct? How are you jumping over?
It's called seen it all, done it all.
Charlie, do you know what Carlo has seen? Carlo was part of the Berlusconi Milan team of the 80s and 90s.
No, these are normal.
He handled Juventus. Coached Parma, coached AC Milan, coached Roma, coached Bayern Munich, coached Napoli. So what Carlo has seen in football, and Chelsea.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
What he has seen in world
I mean,
football.
if you've coached Paolo Maldini, if you've coached Inzaghi, you've coached Shevchenko.
All the way to Vinicius Junior.
Hey, do you know
Who is Vinicius Junior?
do you know his Milan? Do you know who were in his Milan team?
Imagine
The
old men.
Dida, Nesta,
Yeah, Gattuso,
Ambrosini,
Ambrosini.
Cafu,
Hello.
Pello, Rui Costa, Seedorf, Kaka,
Shevchenko.
Inzaghi, Yapstam.
Shevchenko.
Senior main team. This was senior main team. Let me read more messages that are coming through. We'll talk about PSG in a bit. We'll talk about what their future looks like without Kylian Mbappe. We'll even talk about what Kylian Mbappe will look like playing for Real Madrid, because this evening he's just announced
yes.
that he will play his final game for PSG on Sunday. So Mbappe, after the Macron presser, after the Arabian presser, he has finally decided that they cannot hold him hostage in the Farmers League. He is going. He is taking his skills to another farm. Anyway, Sapashini says Leverkusen have 4 games to go. Okay, 2 in the Bundesliga, 1 each in the finals. Europa League. Oh yes, good. So they do have the Pokal against Kaiserslautern. They have the final against Atalanta, and then 2 more Bundesliga games. True. Michingoro 5 CDs. You see,
No, Puka
from Ablekuma. You see, when you are trying to be diabolical, this is what happens. Chelsea, please beat Forest tomorrow. Arsenal to soak Ten Hag's head for me. United's downfall is all I ask for. Blues, the colour. Poch is taking over the EPL soon. I hope you believe that. Alvinio from Akosombo says, Ben, please ask coach if he expects big things from Chelsea next season, and why is United playing like a Division 2 team? Elom Kuma from Tema says that Crystal Palace is playing some really good football towards the end of the season. They are a team to look out for next season. They just need to make some few signings and they will be there. Jude from Kakasunaka says that I have a strong belief that Bayer Leverkusen is playing with some unseen force. The density of last minute goals is beyond imagination. I had a list of it here. I'll probably look for it and read it out to you. Arsenal's hope is on Fulham to Raffles City, only for us to see them fly kites at training on Tuesday before holding 5 tomorrow. Let's see. People were flying Asongoli. I don't even know what that's called.
Asongoli mean fleeky.
The ghosts will fleeky too.
You know the song? I know it. Dang, 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 dang,
No.
dang, dang.
This one I said. This is from Tompo, texting from Airport East. Hey, Charlie.
That's Tompo.
Tompo.
Kickboxer.
Tompo.
Yeah, Tompo. Yeah. Van Damme.
If you don't know Tompo,
Charlie.
you are probably too young to be listening to this show.
They don't know Tompo.
Talking about that,
Jay-Z, Jay-Z
the other day I
don't know
recorded blood spot on my box. I need to watch it.
How
You know
old are
Blast-
you again?
You know blood spot.
Those were
Killer
the
movie,
days
Blood
I
spot.
say if you don't know Tompo, you are probably too young.
Red Scorpion,
Red
Scorpion, Universal Soldier. Charlie, no.
Best of the best.
Oh, bro,
Yeah,
you've mentioned the movie.
That movie was hard, bro. That movie was hard. Anyway, he says that please tell Nimli to show me how to stop supporting Manchester United, because my heart is always bleeding when Manchester United is playing. Like Kofi Kinata will say, against 4 are listening, but we are gelling.
You can't stop.
This one here says, good evening, Ben. I'm Picasso from Amman from Ask the Rabbi to say a prayer for Arsenal. Arsenal, they need a prayer, they need a stretcher, they need a first aid kit. Charlie. This one is from Moses. Says, Poch, you and your boys need to pick up all 3 maximum points in the remaining games in order to secure a Europa League slot for the upcoming season. Lawrence says that Tofiakwa, after Arsenal's game with Man U, they can be soaked in any blood. Okay. This one said John Abson, aka Network from Panorama. He says, good evening, Ben. Tell coach he is still a Man United fan. We are going to beat them on Sunday. This one here from Yao, aka Costa from Mamobi.
Arsenal, they've won how many? I think once in
Just 1 in 16 trips to Old Trafford.
So you can have this one. No,
I'll come back to you for your analysis on that game. This one here says that the way I wanted Real Madrid to be eliminated, that Manuel Neuer mistake really reminds me of Olele in the 2010 World Cup, Ghana against Australia. So painful. Then it's Adusu from Dan Suman. Says that good evening, Citi Sports Group. My team of the season is Leverkusen. They made my day yesterday. With the comeback they made yesterday, I'm certain that they will go unbeaten until the end of the season. They are my favorites to win the Europa League. Let's talk about Dortmund and PSG real quick. Let me start with you here on that note.
Yeah.
So, Dortmund against all odds knocking out PSG. PSG, like I say, there are a couple. They should be named barmen.
Charlie, people are asking about the song.
Which song is
The one we
I said
played.
that.
Yeah, that's it. That
Yeah,
remix.
I said that remix.
Yeah, Charlie.
And enjoy it. Go and enjoy it. The rabbi has, sprinkled angel dust on the song.
Yeah.
So go out there.
But me and Nathan like the other Aseda song. The King Paluta one.
Oh, yeah,
King Paluta.
yeah.
Yeah. The Aseda song
The
is
two of you are
It's a
up to
jam.
no
It's a
good.
jam.
We are
It's a-
always
the two of
It's a
you are
jam.
up to no good. The way you are glorifying the song.
Sit down,
Anyway,
you
let's,
must sit down.
let's talk about
PSG.
PSG and Dortmund.
Dortmund delivered the kind of performance I didn't expect from Dortmund, and not from an attacking perspective, but from a defensive perspective. I honestly did not see them being able to defend the way they did in France. If it was in Germany, that you can kind of get that kind of performance. I mean, with the yellow wall backing you and all that. But in France, in Paris, with all those vociferous fans in that mood, and they being able to hold their nerve, and that's one thing that has been characteristic of Dortmund over the years. They can't hold their nerve. You remember what happened last season, the final day of the Bundesliga. They couldn't hold their nerve to end a win and secure the title. This time around, they did that, and they managed to get to the final. And that was the biggest shock for me, that they were able to hold their nerve defensively, and that they were able to get such an easy goal away from home. That Matt Hummels header, it was as if PSG just didn't want to defend that particular corner.
No, but it's always been their problem. Remember in the quarterfinals against Barcelona, they conceded from a set piece.
But not in this manner. But it was so shocking that you just let Max Hummels is a huge guy. He's a big guy, and you just let him roll into the penalty box unattended to and just head the ball free header into the net. That for me was very, very shocking and very disappointing. And the fact that Kylian Mbappe no-showed. He no-showed in both games, in both legs. The first leg and in the second leg, he no-showed.
I have very controversial opinions about Mbappe, but you finish.
What in relation to the game?
No, not this game. Generally, but you finish.
Okay, yes.
We'll come there.
Yes. He no-showed, and which was very uncharacteristic, kind of like the Dortmund performance, because in the big games, Mbappe 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 has showed up, even when his team doesn't win. His performance is on point. So you remember the COVID Champions League final, Bayern Munich PSG. He wasted some very good chances, but his performance was on point. You look at that 2018 World Cup final, he delivered, got 2 goals, France won, they won the World Cup. The 2022 FIFA World Cup final, he scored a hat-trick in the final game. How many people score a hat-trick in the final game of a World Cup? He did, but this was the game that PSG really needed him to really step up, and they didn't even need him to step up 100%. All they needed him to do was to step up, let's say 60, 55%, and he didn't deliver. He couldn't penetrate. He couldn't dribble past a lot of defenders. All he had to do was just dump the ball off, square passes, crosses. Nothing penetrating. Nothing that would really threaten the Dortmund backline.
I think just to add to that, I've watched that game again, so like I agree with you where I didn't see Dortmund coming to play that way, or whether they could execute such a game plan. But I think Luis Enrique has to be blamed for PSG exit. Tactically, he got it wrong. You see, if you have Dembele, Mbappe playing in his favorite left wing position, and there's a natural striker, these guys are all young. What I didn't understand was the consistent use of the right hand side where Dembele and the right Moroccan boy plays, Hakimi. Go watch the clip again. On several occasions in that first half, you could clearly see that Kylian Mbappe constantly raising his hand for the ball for them to change what we call change the tide of the game, swing it around like Toni Kroos will do, like Modric will do. 30,
40
and then
across.
because anytime they went to the right, there's a diagonal shift. And you and I know that you want to fancy Mbappe against a 1v1 situation. They tried several times on the right, but the timing of the changing of the game towards the left hand side meant that it was too slow, it was too labored, and anytime they did that, Dortmund had readjusted their tactical defensive shape to make it a proper defensive line cover. So when the ball got to Mbappe now, in front of him there was a Dortmund player. Behind him there was a Dortmund player. Behind the other Dortmund player there was a Dortmund player. So he couldn't even take them onto the bar. But it was a 1v1. He takes you to the bar line, put him those crosses, and they put them away. But again, Luis Enrique, I think he's one of the most rigid sort of coach I have seen. He's too rigid. If he says, do it this way, there isn't any. You see, that Messi, Neymar, Suarez combination could work no matter how rigid he was because of the technical ability of those three guys. But what he should realize as a manager.
You see, even coach, even Messi, you can't control Messi like
exactly.
Messi will go rogue on the pitch, and you can't tell him
anything
when he comes out.
You understand? But when you are dealing with players like Mbappe, Dembele, Goncalo Ramos, there should be some form of mobility to what they do.
And this is a very stark opposite to what Carlos says he lets his Real Madrid
players do.
Gives them the freedom to be able
move.
to express
Look at Vinicius Junior, look at Rodrigo, look at Bellingham. There should be some form of mobility. But look, Mbappe, and then in that second half, 30 minutes to go, when he brought on the boy from Togo, the Togo boy, is it the Togo boy, the French boy, Togo boy, the one?
Bakola.
Yes,
French international.
Yeah, when he brought that boy on, and he took Mbappe through the middle, he just more or less presented Mbappe to Mark Hummels and Sule and co to be dealt with. And that is not his strength. So even if you are asking him to go and play through the middle, I think what he should have done was to encourage them. And I felt that at some point in time, he had too many defenders on the pitch. Because Dortmund sat back. The changes of the coaches meant that they were going to defend because they had 2 goals to protect. Okay, we can defend this. Even if you score 1, we are still true. So what Luis Enrique also should have done was to sacrifice some of his defensive midfielders or some of his centre backs. I think there wasn't the need to keep the 2 centre backs on the pitch for the duration with which they were kept on the pitch. Where there is Colomwani, you see, when there are too many defenders, when Dortmund went 3 back 5, very composed back 5, you don't use one person to engage 3 centre backs. There should be 2 strikers. So I would have done maybe Mbappe and then Colomwani. Put the 2 of them there to engage. So you play in between
the lines.
I even suggested they started Colomwani. Last 2 weeks when we had that discussion, I suggested that he started Colomwani.
Let me give the final word on the Champions League to Abeku. So the final is set. Real Madrid through, Dortmund through, PSG and Bayern, they're disappointed. Your takeaways from the 2 legs?
I feel for forgive me, for Real Madrid, it's about how the team is built. And if I look at Paris Saint-Germain, that's how they want their dream team to be, like Real Madrid. So they started buying superstars, trying to emulate or the
Galacticos.
That's it. And these things, it has a way of doing it, because then you have to look at a manager that has that thinking. For Paris Saint-Germain, they've not been that consistent with that kind of manager that will understand that project they're on. So it's why even after this game, the club president would have to come back and say, look,
he had to reassure that Luis Enrique was going nowhere.
Coach, and this is the coach. We have a plan for the future, and we want to stay on that path. So for Madrid, I mean, it's a perfect picture for every club in this world to
I like the fact that you are highlighting this, because Real Madrid, basically, they took this decision to go. Real Madrid were always like buying established old stars. They basically realized that based on nation state money, i.e. PSG, Manchester City, they cannot compete with the powers that be. especially for financial power. So they decided that
these are nations.
good. So instead of buying the
Another person
established player,
had the chance to give it to another nation. Then you went to give it to Azuku.
show me a picture of your Altani.
You talk now.
I say show me a picture of your Altani. Anyway, like I'm saying, look, I just feel like the decision to go to flip the scale around, buy youngsters that will be worth millions that other teams would want, is such a brilliant business model. Just finish, yeah.
And you look at the Real Madrid setup. Who will be able to buy a Vini Jr.? Which club?
Good question.
But for Paris Saint-Germain,
That's 250 million now.
That's it. But for Paris Saint-Germain, I think a Madrid can pick a player at any time. It is why Kylian Mbappe is saying, I'm going. Because he sees the Madrid project. And you look at one man that coach will say, he's a Bain or Pablo. But that guy, Perez, he's learnt football.
Visionary.
He should be there forever. The record says that anytime he's not there,
till
they
death
struggle.
Till death do us part. When you guys will name the stadium after him.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Just wrap it up first.
And I mean, so for me, I feel Real Madrid, then again, it's about the culture, it's about the mentality of that club. It's about what they inculcate in these youngsters, who they attract. And assure them that, look, you have your freedom and liberty to play top class football. Be yourself first. That's the thinking. Be yourself first. And then understand the project from the managerial level. And do not give up until the final whistle.
Tell
and
them.
I feel
them.
Look, and it is evident. Look at Xavi Alonso,
Son of the club.
My goodness.
Translated the philosophy to Leverkusen.
Now look at it.
Very soon they'll start saying the Leverkusen president too is pulling strings. Thank you.
I beg you.
Let's move the conversation on to something more specific. Nathan, let me start off with you on this one. So Mbappe announces his departure from PSG, happening on Sunday last game. First of all, just quick thoughts on what kind of legacy he leaves in PSG and France, and how he fits into this Real Madrid team. I'll take that question around the table because we all know that Vinicius, like we are all saying, is the superstar at Real Madrid now. Mbappe is coming. Not only is Mbappe coming, Endrick is coming. So there's a lot of
Real Madrid will have a lot of thinking to do as to what to do with this team. So, because you see, they've done the rebuild very well.
Talk to me about the first part first.
So
legacy in France.
Mbappe's legacy. I think what he's done for PSG, of course, the biggest slight will be he never won the Champions League with PSG. It will be something that will go against him for a while. But I don't think that it's a problem because PSG themselves were not ready to win the Champions League. I don't think they were ever going to fast track their way to winning a Champions League, despite acquiring all those players. Because what people don't know is this: that dressing room was a very chaotic dressing room, extremely chaotic. I take listeners back to Thomas Tuchel's his first press conference as Chelsea manager. He was asked about PSG. He said something very interesting. He said when he was at PSG, he was more than a head coach. He was almost like player manager, designated peacemaker, had to be handling all kinds of characters. Psychologist, all kinds of things. Because Ben,
he was a psychologist.
Look, Ben, you are dealing with Neymar and over 50 people in his entourage. There's Lionel Messi and his drama. There's Kylian Mbappe, who also carries this immense star power of the entire France psyche.
Absolutely.
So what do you do? What really are you going to do? You understand? You had a team where you put 10 outfield players, 3 of them don't press, and you dare not ask them to press because they won't do it anyway.
Charlie.
So now 7 players need to show that the load of 10, and the others are walking around feeling very happy, feeling very cool. It is why lots of managers have struggled at PSG. It's not because they are a bad team. It's because the chemistry that, for example, you need and the understanding and peace of mind you need a dressing room didn't exist.
And it's happened in this Enrique era. There have been a number of occasions where he's taken Mbappe out of games and Mbappe has immediately headed down either to the stands or into the tunnel.
For Luis Enrique, when you read the French press, he's always told them that this gentleman will leave us. So let us start to play as though he's not part. It's why Mbappe, half of this, he never played league games because Luis Enrique kept telling the team that this guy will leave. He has told us he's going.
You can't plan with this guy.
Let's not plan with him. So let us play the games as though this guy doesn't exist at PSG. That's what he's been trying to do. And the people at PSG themselves have realized that this throwing money around, it doesn't help. It is why they were smart enough to get Kolomwani on a free. Then they didn't spend too much on Dembele. And then they are bringing players like Bakola. They got Bakola from Lyon and things like that. So they are trying to almost go the organic way now. But I think Mbappe's legacy, what he leaves at PSG, is somebody who gave everything. The numbers don't lie. 306 games, 255 goals, 96 assists. He's done what he could do. I don't think he leaves the country with a stain on his reputation that much, because the French people understand that, look, if it's not working here, he'll go somewhere. He's not the first player to leave France and go and try the big things elsewhere.
But is he the biggest?
In terms of what, like reputation?
Reputation.
I don't think so. If you ask me, France have had players of bigger reputations.
I'm even talking about in the context of modern football, in the context of like how much social media following you attract now.
Yes, of course, because in this context, in this modern era, yes. When Zizou left France, he was known, but he still hadn't tasted. He left. It's not like he left Bordeaux to Juve. People went through, and then he blew up from there. So yes, he does leave in terms of looking at it from a modern perspective as the biggest brand. The numbers speak for themselves, and I think he's a lesson, or he epitomizes a lesson in how to construct a team. Never think that if you put superstars in a pool, it will work. No,
It almost never
works. But let's wait and see what happens. Personally, I think PSG played this wrongly, because I feel they could have made a lot more money from Mbappe.
There was a part of them that thought they could have convinced him.
They thought so too. And of course, you need to understand, you need to understand the context and politics of the time. There's a very strong rivalry between Nasser El Khelaifi, who's the big man at PSG, and Florentino Perez, who's the big man at Real Madrid. So for PSG, holding on to Mbappe was like winning the war.
Power play.
It was power play. They knew.
You can't come and take our star whenever you want.
They knew the numbers, that if they sold Mbappe, they were going to make a lot of money. But in holding on, they won the war of pride. But they lost the war on money, and now he's leaving them on a free. So we'll have to see how that one plays out. But I guess for Mbappe, I guess he looks at it and there's nothing more he can do at PSG. Let's just move on to try something else. Of course, I would want to see what, if he does go to Real Madrid, what it means for Real Madrid, and that's a completely different story. But I don't think it does anything in terms of his entire reputation as a French player. I don't think.
Let me come to you on that. So first of all, where does Mbappe fit in with Real Madrid in the context of what is going to happen in the next 12 months? And then again, also talk about, how do you call it, the whole situation of Ballon d'Or contenders within Real Madrid, the friction it creates, Mbappe coming for free. Like, just put all of that into context for us.
Well, Mbappe will move to the right side. Vinicius Junior will move over to the left side. No, Mbappe will move
to the. Vinicius stays at the left.
No, he moves over to the right. Mbappe walks straight into that left position. Rodrigo will become expendable. Rodrigo is the odd man out. In this situation, Rodrigo is the odd man out.
And make your argument in context with Endrick also coming.
Yeah. Oh, he is a budding star, so he will definitely come off the bench. Either
Adagula style.
Yeah, Adagula style.
1 match every 10 games.
I don't think they will restrict him to. They'll starve him of games that much. He'll get a consistent minutes. I see him. They using him the way Brazil uses
10,
him.
15.
So you come off the bench, you become more like an impact kind of
Sitman.
Sitman basketball team. You become an impact sub more or less. But Mbappe will definitely walk into that starting lineup, walk into that left wing position. Vinicius Junior is versatile. He's brilliant enough to thrive on that right side.
Good enough. I just hold that thought. Vinicius being good enough is one thing, versatile is another thing. But there's ego at play.
Yes.
Vinicius thinks that he's a star now.
But he's not a bigger star than Kylian Mbappe. It's that simple.
When it comes to the issues of Real Madrid,
this is my home.
Vinicius is the bigger animal.
That's what I'm saying. This is my home.
You don't leave your home and come to my home and
tell me that you're the chairman.
No, it will not happen.
How does that play?
You allow you to finish.
I just want to correct something. I was talking about Kolomani. So Kolomani cost PSG 90 million. Rather. I thought they signed him on a free, but he cost
I think
them
he and
90 million.
Goncalo Ramos
Point
cost
of correction
150
there.
million combined. Yeah. So the point is either Vinicius Junior continues to play up top the way he's done with Rodrigo. This time around, he plays up top with Kylian Mbappe, or he has to accept that he will have to move over to the right side.
Because I like the Rodrigo point, because there have been times where the Real Madrid setup looks like a 4-3-1 to a 4-4-2, where they are like interchanging.
Yes, so it's Rodrigo and Vinicius Junior most of the time leading the attack. Now, like I've said, Rodrigo is expendable. He will go. He is on the outside looking in. Mbappe can thrive alongside Vinicius Junior in that kind of system where you have Jude Bellingham also featuring in the midfield. Then you have Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Junior leading the attack. Or they do the outlandish. They let Rodrigo go for some good money. Then they use that money to go get Erling Haaland. Then have him play through the middle. Relax. Then have him.
This kind
I have to ring the bell.
Oh yes. Then they have him play through the middle. Then have Kylian Mbappe play down the left.
But have
and Vinicius Junior
told you that they are ready to sell them?
No, they are not ready to. Tomatoes womb.
I'm afraid
It's simple because
but who is selling Erling Haaland to?
No, who is selling Erling Haaland? But has he shown that?
It makes it, Charlie. 2 weeks ago,
I
go chop some spaghetti. I do this one. It reminds me of loaded, bro.
Nana.
Spag, chicken, beef, sausage.
That's a baby phone coin.
Loaded, bro.
Nipanai.
Is that East Legon? East Legon. Where is that East Legon?
Hey,
Is that time because that team selection rate?
No. Because Erling Haaland does he look settled at Man City?
Why not?
There's reports have emerged over the months this season that he is not happy at Manchester City. He's ready to run his contract down. It's possible.
I kind of think the Haaland to Madrid is feasible,
It's very
but
feasible.
at least in the next 2-3 seasons down the line, not immediately.
Not immediately.
Because Erling Haaland will not cost Real Madrid anything more than 200, anything less than 200. And I don't think that if you look at the business model Florentino Perez is running, he's not spending after Eden Hazard.
I like how you put it, business model.
He's not spending that kind of money on any player again.
Okay, that's ideally that's what it should look like. Erling Haaland through the middle, Vinicius Junior as a versatile player who can thrive down the right side and serve Erling Haaland, who is a direct threat via crosses. Then you have Kylian Mbappe, who can play off Erling Haaland.
If a team ever puts together this kind of starting like front three, there's no need for anybody to show up on the pitch to
But Real Madrid only on EAFC.
No, but Real Madrid did it. Florentino did it.
Sports, man.
You remember what he did in the early 2000s? You remember what he did?
Well,
He made it happen. Whoever thought that you have Zidane, Beckham, Luis Figo, and Ronaldo in the same team?
Where did he lead them?
Why did he lead
One
them?
league title in how many years?
Because they made that mistake of letting Claude Makelele leave. That was their biggest mistake. If they had let Makelele stay, they would have dominated European football for at least 4 years.
Fair. Conclude your point.
But in reality terms, it will have to be the two guys up top making it work, and it will have to be Vinicius Junior and Kylian Mbappe playing as two kind of mini number 10s, mini number 9s. That's how it will get.
Who is number 7? Who is number 7 at Real Madrid now?
Vinicius.
What number does Mbappe wear?
He wears 7 at club level, 10
at France. So I'm sure he'll pick up the number 10 position. I think number 10 is Brahim Diaz, who wears Real Madrid.
It's Luka Modric. If he stays,
Luka is not giving away his number.
No. Who they? Nobody tells him to give it up.
This will become problematic. Because when Ronaldo was coming to Real Madrid, it's because Raul was willing to give up his number. And even
Raul didn't give it.
He was not happy. He was not happy.
Until Raul left, then Ronaldo look.
He was wearing number 9.
No, he was wearing number 9. Yes,
so
which number did Mbappe wear at AS Monaco?
25, do 23, do 21.
I think he will have to pick up that number.
We'll see about that. Let me take, coach, your thoughts on a tactical point.
That is where the problem will be or will not be.
Okay.
It depends on what Carlo really wants to do.
Okay.
I've been thinking through the situation. Mbappe, whether he likes it or not, will have to play as a number 9 in that team.
Yep.
If Carlo decides that he's going to go 4-3-3, Mbappe plays through the middle. As of Vinicius Juniors, nobody takes him away from the left-hand side.
You mean he's the landlord?
He stays there because he is not as effective
As when you
Anywhere
bring down
else,
the right.
anywhere else, right?
That is his
Central.
strength.
Yep.
And let's put it straight, he's earned the right to be there. Nobody takes him down. Look, the boy is that powerful at Real Madrid.
Serious.
What you don't want to do
Is to
get him
is to
dressing
get him
room
upset.
unrest.
Yeah.
You don't want that to happen because he's proven he's won the Champions League for them, and then he's taking them to another final, all in 3 seasons. Having said that, if you want to tactically adjust to accommodate Mbappe, I think the adjustment will rather result in a tactical changes in what goes on in midfield.
I see.
That Jude Bellingham advanced role
Number 10
Ben,
goal scorer
remember what I said.
will be stopped. He now have to focus
on being
on
an actual midfielder.
being an actual midfielder alongside any two that he will play with. That is where I think the tactical thing will happen. People are talking about Rodrigo. Look, he's the most effective and the most efficient
Player in that mix.
player in that Real Madrid team.
True.
In terms of end product.
In terms
Yep.
of end product, of
Yep.
course. Very efficient and effective.
True.
So it comes down to Carlo Ancelotti. He can decide. I think it will come down to the opposition that is in front of them. Because
But there are also discussions. Don't forget, there are discussions or speculations that Rodrigo could leave Real Madrid this summer.
no,
Yeah.
it will be suicidal for them to think
That
about
they should
selling
sing.
him. Like I've said, he's the most effective and the most efficient attacking player they've got.
Also happens to be the most underrated of them and the least in stature. So they
He's one person.
They seem to think
They
he's
will let him
dispensable.
go the same way they
will- they will not let
Cristiano
him go.
Ronaldo, Benzema,
Letting
and
him go.
and
Real
Higuain.
Madrid-
They let
letting him
Higuain
go.
go.
Let
Higuain
him-
went and won
Real
the
Madrid-
Italian Serie A
Real
top goal
Madrid,
scorer.
Real Madrid will not let
a different
Rodrigo
kettle of
go.
Yeah, Rodrigo.
What if there's a case where they need to balance their books?
They have to.
How much are they paying for Kylian Mbappe? 0. What are you balancing?
Oh, but his wages are.
Wages will
huge.
still be heavy.
But
The wages is already factored in the salary in the
transfer.
money that they would have spent. So there's nothing to balance. Everything just fits in. And Real Madrid under Carlo Ancelotti will manage this. Rather, if there's going to be chaos, the chaos may come after Carlo leaves.
When Xabi Alonso comes.
After Carlo leaves, that is where whoever comes next
Very likely to hire Xabi Alonso.
may have his own way of doing
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
There may be at that point, but say even at that point, I think Toni Kroos and Luka Modric
Would have left.
would have left. And therefore Valverde, Camavinga, Jude Bellingham, and them and those Tchouaméni will focus. So why would you want to sell Rodrigo? You wouldn't want to.
Because there's always a fall guy.
No,
and
he's
he's the fall
you
guy.
see, the point
No,
is that
listen.
he's very useful to
He's
them.
very useful to them. So why would you want to sell
What's he
him?
going?
I have
Listen,
seen,
yeah.
I have seen some before.
Look, Ben, look at it this way.
Ben.
The gap between Vinny and Mbappe. So you put them at the higher level. And
There's
then
below that.
just below that
It's
is
Rodrigo. Why will you sell him?
Look at the jump between Brahim Diaz and Ada Goulet. And then Mbappe and Vinny. It's too wide.
It's too wide.
So you need somebody in,
In
that.
that.
Yes.
Somebody who, when things are not going
You
on,
can pull him off
30 minutes, 20 minute party show that come and go
but
get a
but
job
I'm also
done.
saying this because look, I've known Real Madrid over time. They are definitely selling somebody this summer. I don't know who it is,
you see-
but they are definitely
Is it-
selling somebody this
If
summer.
they are going to sell anybody, it will not be Rodrigo. I want everybody. Look,
Apparently,
Carlo Ancelotti.
he has become the
Liverpool.
spotlight guy to be sold because he actually has a lot of value. So I'm hearing that teams like Arsenal and Liverpool are willing to spend as much
Look,
as 80 million
looking
to
at
buy
Carlo,
Rodrigo.
looking at Carlo Ancelotti. How old is Rodrigo? He's not even
He's like
25 years.
21.
He's a 24 crown year.
22, 23.
Why would you say such a talent?
Because he's the most valuable of the options that are available.
Real Madrid don't need to sell.
They need to sell.
For what? They don't have. They don't need to.
They will have to.
No, it's look. Carlo Ancelotti. That's what I'm saying. That I'm not looking at. No.
Carlo,
You know the extent to which Carlo values the boy.
True.
He values the boy.
Well, there's that. I think that
And there's business.
that's actually a big
No,
point. So,
but-
so there's the business and then there's the manager.
And I'm saying that.
If Carlo will vouch for Rodrigo and say,
why would Real Madrid?
I need this guy.
Why would Real Madrid in a year maximum, Cruz, Modric will be gone? If you are a coach, is it bad to have? Let's put it straight to tactically within your setup.
Yeah.
You need 2 players in every position. Why would you sell Rodrigo?
I understand.
Why?
I understand where you're coming
So me, I don't look.
I think
it doesn't make sense to me one bit.
What happens? What saves Rodrigo from being sold is the fact that Real Madrid have had a successful season. If they can win the Champions League, now the prize money from winning La Liga and from winning the Champions League might just be enough for them to actually not decide to sell
know the
anymore.
money they are making?
If they had. No, I'm saying this because remember the first time Real Madrid tried to get Mbappe. Granted that then they had to pay almost 200 million. For him. They literally went about clearing everybody from the way to get him.
Who were those they cleared?
Sergio Ramos cleared. They had a chance to bring back Ashraf Hakimi. They decided to sell him off.
They sold him.
They sold like 4 or 5.
They
Casemiro to Manchester United. Rafael Varane.
Okay, but when you look at the profile of this Real Madrid team as it stands, why would you sell anybody?
Fair point.
This has happened before.
So
and I'm saying that back in the day, not too long ago, you had Benzema, Cristiano Ronaldo, Higuain. That team under Jose Mourinho, they scored over 100 goals. It was as brilliant as they come. They sold Higuain because they needed money to augment the team. There's always a fall guy, and in this instance,
let's wait.
Rodrigo,
let's wait
because Rodrigo is the most valuable asset that they have that is expendable.
Yep.
If you are going to let Adegulan go, if you are going to let Brahim, if you are going to let Brahim Diaz go, they don't fetch much in return.
But
as much as
makes you
Rodrigo.
think that Real Madrid can survive with only killing Mbappe.
They can't. As for that, they can't.
And Vinicius alone leading
As for that
the
one, they
line.
can't.
Vinicius,
There's injury. Don't forget,
Suspension.
Vinicius himself was injured this season for like 2 months. So if you are Real Madrid, well, like Nathan just explained about the difference in gap and all that, why would you want to let go of that player who, on his day, is equally good like them when they are not there? Can step up and get the job done. Is that the player to be sold? I beg to differ.
Let's talk about some MTN FA Cup semi-final action real quick, and then we'll touch on the Arsenal game as well before we move it on. Abeku, let me come to you on this one. Semi-final action happening this weekend. Who do you have your eyes on as favorites to make it to the final? The MTN FA Cup is a big deal right now because it guarantees you a place into Africa, even if you've been poor in the league. Who are your favorites to go through?
It's Dreams FC. I mean, for me, for Bafakwatano, I spoke to an official at the club. They don't really seem to want to get to for anything.
You mean they are not motivated to make it to the final?
In that conversation,
They don't have money to go to Africa.
Commanding enough, absolutely. And I listened to
Ketokreku has cash.
Shadow explained the amount you spend on a trip. Yeah, and those are not small numbers.
Yeah.
So
and they want to. Dreams FC have tasted from the Golden River.
Absolutely.
They've enjoyed the money that comes with going to the group stage, so they want to go again. They are motivated to go again.
They are super motivated.
So you say Dreams win that game.
Dreams hands down.
In the other tie, who are you tipping?
That is the one between Swatrema and
Saint-Germain,
Are they ready?
but they are backed by some some big
some
boys.
big
That's a
political
Legon
figures.
Cities in Swatraman.
yes.
They are backed by some big boys.
And you recall when Legon City
And they have an experienced coach.
Going to Africa, it's not about big boys. If you don't have money, all your money will finish.
Individual rich man money can't take you to Africa.
They have big boys, so they pull it. They'll pull it.
Yo, half of folk Africa, we see them. Which big boys don't they have? Please.
Even for Dreams, they say they don't want to go begging again. They want to put structures in place to make sure that when they go for the second time they go smoothly. That they won't have to go to their bankers and take some loans and later go into the money zone and try and pay off. It's Ultraman, as you mentioned, they have these brains behind them that are cool, but they are ready to spend. They had a project, prior to coming into the league proper. So I'm tipping for Legon City. They came all gun blazing.
The bus,
branding.
The money is finished. Though.
The Asawajan $1 million.
When they started Charlie, they reviewed. I used to watch one and watch Charlie.
I'm telling you.
They're bringing
Shatawale when they shake.
The night, so that the days on which they brought Shatta and Wendy, I was there.
Charlie,
I was there. That was when I was trying to sign Mrs. Q to my team.
Oh,
Charlie. So I used to take her to go Lagos, and she liked them. My branding too.
you.
But Charlie slow.
I told one of the officials that don't spray that. This is not how Ghana football is done. Hey, you don't just come in as a lion and wanting to devour,
spreading money all over.
No. Ghana football. This is our football we are doing. It's not done like that. You need to take your time and have a proper plan and a projection.
And again, Konedu is a guy who knows Lagos City's inside out. Especially having coached them. So
I think in Swachaman
so in Swachaman Dreams FC final. That should be a cracker. So MTN FA Cup semi-final happening this weekend. Like I said, the winner of the FA Cup gets to go to the CAF Confed Cup. So it's a big deal. Let's talk about Arsenal, Man United. Coach Nimley's Man United. Coach Nimley's. Look at he's looking at me like
he said he's not part of the team.
Forget it.
You see, there are people talking to me.
In Cape Coast we have a masquerade.
There are people talking
Tell him.
We have a masquerade group called Oshawakumem.
Coach, who wins this game? Because we've all established here, Arsenal have not travelled well to Old Trafford in recent times, and Manchester United, believe it or not, look, maybe barring Manchester City, where they succumb most of the time, United are one of those teams where form doesn't apply in big games. I think it was made for them. They can be rubbish all their lives and show up and shock you in a big game.
It will not happen on Sunday. Arsenal wins this comfortably. Yeah, of course. They do.
A comfortable lead.
It's a comfortable win. A win that will make them get past Norway. You see, when you pass cry, you don't get admitted.
And this matter you spoil people.
No, it's the truth.
You spoil people's food.
You see, by the time they will play United on Sunday, Man City would have beaten Fulham good.
Yeah.
So City would have been on top. Then they will now play and then regain the top. Then on Wednesday, then Man City would then tell them that Ejumano is C. When they do beat Spurs,
and in this scenario you are painting, I know people who will be happy.
No, but it's the fact. Why you lost against Aston Villa? Who do you want to play your ball for?
Give me tactical reasons why Arsenal will account for them, because I think that
they are going. You see, they are going into the teams. They are going into the game at full strength. For United to put up any decent competition in the game on Sunday, they need a proper back four that they will not have. In fact, on Sunday it will be pairing number 33 out of 48 or 49 games. That is completely. I don't even know the adjective. No, not shambolic. Not unacceptable, because these are forced things, and it's so sad that a manager walks into this. Very unfortunate, where he has to bring out 33 different back four partnership to play in football games. Casemiro finds himself in a situation where
it was so bad.
He's been made.
You don't put him in.
He's been made to look so foolish. But we all know the quality of the player. He may not be on form, but if he's allowed to play in his favorite role, at least he can have an impact. So this week, Man United supporters saw the Butcher training, and then they said, wow, we can do something. Varane is back training. But look, Ten Hag again said today that the Butcher is not going to be risked for this game. He's completely out. So it means that is Johnny Evans and Carlos Casemiro. I think all they need to do is to speak to Arsenal. We'll make it a bit decent. 2-1. That is what you don't. See, no matter how tactical Eric Ten Hag will want to be on the day, I think Arsenal look the Odegaard, the Trossard, the Partey, they will be at full strength. This game, if Man United were looking like they were last season when Arsenal came to Old Trafford, where everybody was there. United, you remember, won that game, I think 3-1. Then Arsenal will be worried. It has to be damage limitation and nothing else. And you see, for those people who are saying sack Ten Hag,
I don't think it's the right thing.
Goes to play a hand time football.
You cannot do that. Ask Pep Guardiola if he's to use 33 partnership. That is the base of every football team. Onana walks into this team and he's never gotten the chance, not even twice, to play with the established back four.
The way you are talking,
that one.
The team need you back.
No.
I'm telling you, the team need you back.
But you've asked me to analyze the thing.
I love the analysis, but I'm telling you that the team needs this analysis.
You see, I've received some calls from some big, well-established
Man United
men of God, and the calls are very touching.
So you are close.
No,
so you are close.
And from the way they spoke to me, I can give you some. Okay,
Reverend Hustle is part.
I know. Coach is speaking like Steve Daviera. Keep coming.
Has Daddy called you?
My pastor, Reverend Yorsin. My father.
The calls keep coming.
I don't want to mention their names.
But you know that today is Reverend Eastwood Anabe's birthday. Right?
Yeah, you see, all these establishment of
phones
God.
are calling.
In fact, they are not happy. One of them called me and say, "What did I hear you say?" I say, "That Major, may the Holy Spirit." We said that Major. Look, the way the Holy Spirit was just released on me, and one of them was like, "Look, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
You can't do that. If you leave, it's virtually you are sending some of us to our grave very early."
Every day.
And I was like, "Wow, is that where it is gotten to?"
Every other day,
So
I bump into somebody who say that they disagree with your decision to lead the team.
But like I said, look, if you don't give the team for filler.
They'll bring Greenwood back for you. They'll bring Greenwood back.
It is either Mason Greenwood. Now I can add another one.
Atani.
Keep Eric Ten Hag. Don't sack him.
Yeah.
Keep him and allow him to work under a proper footballing structure.
Let me read a message
bring
here
back Mason
from our good friend Seidu Adamu, all the way in the United States. Keto Kreku's best friend.
Ni abochi ejibue ni trot we ni bi America court police case in Markeche.
Right now he has become fresh. He's doing fine boy things. And I said they do fine boy things. Tell you go see him there. He deck out in some Puma.
He call me Chelo.
Up and down. The next day he's in Adidas up and down. He says Mbappe's spirit is long gone from PSG. He's been dreaming of Real Madrid since he's been playing for PSG. Allow the man to move in peace.
Of
and
course.
Benzema had bigger clout when he left France. Debatable.
I mean, look, in context, and I mean, of course, because of my bias, I do follow lots of French football. As of the time he left France in 2007, 2008. To be fair, he was the hottest French player.
Man United were hot on his heels
at the time.
Yep.
So context is key, and it's important to state that as of the time Benzema left France, he was the hottest player. He was seen as the savior of French football. He, Ben Arfa, and Nasri. Those were the three players. A lot of people felt French football would be built on.
I don't even think the French president was calling Benzema.
No. At the time, that's what I'm saying. You see,
context.
times change. Context is key. If social media were
Mbappe
heavy
was getting
in 2007, I'm sure it would have been.
But the French people themselves, they should accept that. I think Mbappe is too good for the French league.
They know.
I said it last time.
They know.
So let him leave.
They can pretend like they don't know.
That's why I gave you the backstory of the politics between Al Hilaifi and Florentino Perez at the time, and what it meant for the two countries. The two teams. France, by extension, was just an interested party because PSG
was invested.
Yes, they were invested in it. You get my point.
Investing in the country.
Investing in the country. So the French government also felt that
our investment. We need to protect our
something
investment. Anyway, that's
their training facility that they put up recently.
Fair enough. So that's.
But I don't understand how Rodri missed out on being nominated for the Player of the Season.
Let's talk about that in next week.
It's
unacceptable.
The Premier League, they've not been serious for a minute.
It's unacceptable.
That's just what it is. That's the show for today. Let's do a few shouts before we go.
I want to be last so that when I'm done there, you play the song for me.
Okay, so 2 birthday shouts. One to my very good friend from Accra Academy. We're in the same class as my G, Dennis Osei, aka Chico Ja. Chico, happy birthday to you. I wish you the very, very, very best. We met 3 weekends ago, I think, at the Accra Academy 2004 year group reunion. And then happy birthday to one of the most respected men of God.
Amen.
Reverend Istudanaba.
Man United.
That is
Ben, look, I went from Ben. When you talk about
Oh
Lord Jesus, when you talk about the Christian terrain,
no more.
You can't write
Papa.
that story and not mention
Papa.
Top.
Look, I call him Papa.
He's a
proper teacher.
Proper teacher.
He's a proper man.
A
He's
man
a
of God
proper man
who's
of
taken
God.
the word all the way from up north, brought it down south, all around the world. He's mentored people from afar. He has spoken words that have impacted positively.
One bell for Reverend Istudanaba.
The life of many people. So, Daddy, happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday.
You don't know me personally. I don't know you personally.
Of course.
But you're a great guy.
But he's a great man of God. So
I dedicate the Nasin song to him.
Thank you very much.
Oh yeah, big shouts to our man in the States, Sandy Asiedu. He's doing the listening, and big shouts to Nana Osesa Football. So big man, I salute you.
Sandy should stop supporting the
Lakers
and LeBron. They are killing him. He will be fine.
Yeah.
And he supports Man U too.
Imagine. Charlie, some people support Man U, House of Folk.
LA Lakers.
Charlie, you let me know.
Go and check their BP.
What kind of combination is this?
Go and check their BPs.
And they are Ghanaians too. They support Black Stars.
Imagine Black Stars fan, House of Folk fan, or Kotoko fan, Manchester United.
LA Lakers.
Charlie, why are you doing this? Anyway, Abegu, please.
I want to say happy birthday to one guy who does the listening all the time, Kofi Tewia Kwanzaa. His birthday is tomorrow. And then one solid girl in UK, Jifa.
Relax. One solid who?
One solid girl.
Who is he? Who is she to you?
One solid girl.
I never can achieve.
Hey, Charlie! One solid girl. Yeah. Who is she to you? Becca Nature. Okay,
and my senior man be Don K. The drive time host at ATL FM. He says he listens all the time.
Media, I want to do belated happy birthday to the Kakalika.
Thank you!
The finest Manchester City fan. The finest Manchester City fan in Ghana.
Charlie.
Today he came to the desk and he was like, Charlie, what time are we playing? I said 11:30. Say, early kick off. Say, Charlie, that they help you. You do something about that.
See, in fact, OJ's nickname is Bernardo Silva.
Oh no more.
OJ is famous for giving people names. He can see you and say, hey.
Koulibaly. He goes Gabi Koulibaly.
Hey, call somebody Lacazette. I was so shocked. I was so shocked.
Of all the nicknames he dropped, the one that still freaks me out is Lako.
But OJ himself, I'm giving him a nick, Bernardo Silva. When they won the league the last season, I was just there in the morning, some early morning. Like they finished celebrating, and he just sent me some video. When I opened the video, Bernardo Silva said, enjoy. He sent the video and added the caption, enjoy Bernardo. Big shout outs to OJ. A happy belated birthday to you, Charlie. Now you're a big man. You're a big man.
Okay, Charlie, look. It is coming from my colleague at work. And together with his wife. All their children were born in the month of May. And this is so special. So look, once I'm done, please play the Nasim song for them.
I'll close with that.
It is coming from my colleague, Mr. Owusu Achim, aka Sir Onero, formerly of Achim Swedru
Onero
Senior High School, and his wife Sarah esumene, and that they are wishing their children, their beloved children. One, Nana Kwame Owusu Achim. He celebrated his birthday on